Hey everyone, trendsetters all over the world. This is Lena Rodriguez coming to you from Australia. I want to thank you all, intrepid viewers. I got so many wonderful birthday wishes. Thanks so much. It was fantastic. It took the edge off yet another birthday. Thank you. Right, well, today I want to launch off with the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. Now, she so deserves to be there, right? She's accused of grooming these young women because sex trafficking on this scale, often involves women who get the trust of young women to get them into these situations in the first place. And she's been accused of participating in some of these activities. But you have to wonder, intrepid viewers, with 20 years of sex trafficking of women and particularly underage girls, hundreds of men involved, allegedly, and who's on trial? One woman, not a penis to be seen in a 1,000-mile radius. No. So bad as she is, she didn't do it on her own. What Ghislaine did bring to the table, she was the A-lister, right? Epstein was a relative nobody, just a flash, fast-talking New Yorker or New Jersey or wherever he was from. She was the one who came with the global contacts, right? Because her father, Robert Maxwell, who was one of the, possibly, you could make an argument, one of the most evil men of the 20th century. He was so foul in terms of destroying the working class in Britain. Rupert Murdoch modelled himself on Maxwell, right? That gives you some idea, right? Think about that. Now, she came with the contacts, including the royals, because she was part of that really triple-decker A-list set. So don't expect Prince Andrew to be hauled up over this. Like, the royals know he's a lecherous clown. They know better than anybody exactly what he's like, but they'll never turn him over to American authorities, ever. But where are the other men now? The pilot of the Lolita Express, he admitted transporting Clinton, Trump, and some others, but he didn't see anything, didn't hear anything, didn't know anything. Yeah, right. Okay. So you could at best say that is probably partial testimony at best. But here is Ghislaine facing what would have to be 30 years in prison or something. On the one hand, intrepid viewers, in my humble opinion, she is between a rock and a hard place. Logically, she should have pleaded guilty and gone for, giving names and getting a reduced sentence. Now, either she didn't want to because Epstein's exit was questionable and she would be extremely vulnerable, or what's the other reason she wouldn't? Is she so deluded that she doesn't think she did anything? What? Really? So to plead not guilty, she's rolling the dice. So either miraculously she gets acquitted, in which case it was worth the risk from her point of view, not from those who were savaged by her. But she is running a very risky game. She's going to get a very long sentence if convicted because she's pleading not guilty. So I'm going to have a look. I'm sure most people have read on Ghislaine now. I've tried to stay away from other readings because I want to just give it to you as my take on what I get on this trial. It's scheduled for 6 weeks. She's got 4 heavyweight, very expensive defense lawyers, 2 of whom are women. So what's going to happen with the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell? I think she's genuinely doing hard time in the sense she's segregated and the food's awful and the place is filthy, etc., which would be a true shock to a socialite. But what's going to happen with Ghislaine? Okay, let me bring the screen down. Oh, look at what I'm wearing, viewers. It's summer in Australia. Normally, by December, we're parking up in front of fans, got the aircon on, you know, cool, icy drinks. I'm here in this. It's ridiculous. Climate change. Okay. Look. Okay. First up here, we have the Emperor. I think the Emperor in this case is not the judge or anyone else. This is Epstein. He was her emperor. It just goes to show it doesn't matter how rich you are. If you're in the thrall of someone you're allegedly in love with, there's no saving you, really. You know, she loved this guy. Ooh, yuck, you know. Like there aren't enough bossy, narcissistic, arrogant, wealthy guys in the world. She chose her very own. This is Epstein. I suggest damage from childhood. She was one of 9 kids. We forget that with Ghislaine. I think she might have even been the youngest of 9. So she's a bit of a child herself. Right? Now, the star over the Emperor. This is interesting. This explains to me their relationship because she's in love with him, but she's got the contacts. Right. So he cultivated her and gave her a pat on the head once a week to keep her in the picture because she was the one who opened the doors. Coming up for her, here we have justice. There's an offer she doesn't want. This could be an opportunity to change her plea, right? At some point in proceedings, if I think there's 4 women testifying. If after 3 or even the 4th has testified and it's looking really bad, her legal eagles could say time to change your plea and go for some sort of reduced sentence. But she's defensive about that, not without reason. She would have, the moment she does, she would have 300 or 400 of the most powerful, wealthy men in the world wanting to see her float off this mortal coil. So she's made the offer. She's defensive and resists. This makes me think, this is the 4 of Wands, can be the wedding card, blah, blah. It might finally penetrate her little privileged skull by the end of this, that the stakes are, do you really want to spend the rest of your natural life in jail, Ghislaine, or do you want to even run the risk of something happening to get back into the real world? She just might do that. So let's keep an eye on this. It's a 6-week trial. So let's see if there's a change of plea at the last minute. It could also be that at some point with this all looking bad for her, that the legal sort of whiz kids are able to pull a rabbit out of the hat that saves her at the last minute. That's a possibility, but I don't think she's going to get away per se. So that's where I'm coming down on this. I'm just going to pull a few more cards because I want to know if Clinton, Trump, and I can't remember the others, but there were so many who are all household names. Will any other men be roped into this? Will any other men be accountable for this? Oh, what fell out? I think retreat. This is, I think they're all in retreat. You could certainly say that. But this could be a legal strategy that's sleeping for now. Now, you can have the best defense lawyers in the world, but at a certain extent, if you're standing there with the smoking gun, so to speak, in the form of live witnesses, this could be a sleeping strategy of the defense who say, look, why don't you name some names? Look, she's feeling pressured, which is not surprising. Obviously, this is a radical departure from her normal life. She is in, no doubt, a hell space. It's interesting that the Roger Stones and the other ones, they end up in these soft option jails, and I don't think she is in one. So she feels betrayed by everybody, including these powerful men. For whatever reason, she's protecting them still. But she has to evaluate this, right? So this is other men. Will other men? It could come down to money. Now, money only goes so far. If your life completely crashes and burns emotionally, there's only so much money can do. Now, in her case, it might buy her a bit better food. It might buy her some Wi-Fi access. It might do a bit of this and that. But nothing here is saying to me other men will be held accountable. It's come back to Ghislaine. So she appears to be there all on her lonesome. You wouldn't want to be in her shoes. Okay. So in other news, just while I'm mixing the cards up before my next question, Missouri, who, as we know, is refusing to compensate Kevin Strickland for 42 years of wrongful incarceration. 42 years, they're not giving him a bean. It was so bad. The man is in a wheelchair. And I saw a very poignant interview where he said, they've told me it's their wheelchair. They claim it back at the door. I have to crawl out of this facility. How appalling, America. People have responded, and over $400,000 has been raised in crowdfunding. So I hope he doesn't get ripped off by sharks around him. I hope, he's able to buy a little place and get the health care he needs. And so blessings to Kevin Strickland. Now, the parents of the 15-year-old Michigan shooter have been arraigned for trial, as they should be. We'll be following that case. What else has happened I wanted to share with you? There was something. Oh, yeah. Pleading the fifth. I have to do that. Oh, before I do, I knew what the other thing was. It's a Colorado judge, and he slapped a penalty on 2 of Trump's lawyers for baseless claims and frivolous lawsuits and all of that. So that's going to start kicking back. Not only does the Yeti not pay his bills, because he keeps pushing these court cases, some of the judges are now going, you know what? We're going for the lawyers. So they're going to be fined. Wow, that's big. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about pleading the fifth. So Eastman, probably Mark Meadows, we're going to see a litany of these people pleading the fifth. Now, I have spent the last 4 days talking to legal people because I wanted to get clear what it means, what it implies, what is it all about. So what we all know about pleading the fifth is you plead the fifth because you don't want to implicate yourself in a crime, right? That's the basis of it. Also, what we know is technically the jury, or in this case, the committee, can't infer that you're guilty just because you plead the fifth. Doesn't mean what's happening in your brain is going, yeah, right, for sure, you know, but legally. So what does it mean, and what other options have they got? Now, as I understand it, they have got one choice, which is they can say to him that we will offer you immunity, but then they can't charge him with anything later, but he is compelled to testify. This is Eastman or any of them individually. So let me just get that straight in my head. They can offer immunity, but that comes with being compelled to testify. So that's my question for today. Will any of them take immunity? Right? Because remember back to General Flynn, he pled the fifth and then he got charged with something else. So with these guys, they can plead the fifth all day to sunset, but it doesn't mean they can't be charged for something else. But it does get more complicated. So I want to know, will any of them agree to immunity and then testify? Because we all knew this months ago, you know, there'd be a pile of them pleading the fifth. So this to me is the new interesting question. Will any of them not plead the fifth but agree to immunity? To a certain extent, it'd be the smarter way because, look, you know, they've already had 150 witnesses or something. They can piece this puzzle together. It's this macho thing. Ooh. Will any of them go for immunity instead of the fifth? Will any of them go for immunity instead of the fifth? Oh, some of them are thinking about it. Oh, my word. Oh, this is quite emotional for some of them. Now it's hitting home. You know what? I think until a couple of weeks ago, like hangs with like, right? So they're only talking with people, they're only socializing with people who go, yeah, stop the steal. Yeah, nothing happened. Yeah, we're the good guys, right? They've been in that echo chamber. And now they're hitting up against the real world, and not a minute too soon. Some of them are thinking about this. Will I do that instead of the fifth? They are thinking about it. They're very stressed. Very stressed. They might not be showing it, but they are. Huh. Sorry. The death card. This could be the death of their careers. It could be the death of their freedom. It could be the death of all sorts of things. But what certainly is the end of one whole era. The fantasy that Trump can get them off, the fantasy that the Yeti holds the keys to the kingdom. It's the end of that fantasy. They're feeling embattled. Now push comes to shove and it's real. They are feeling embattled. They're very emotional, like I said. They're very emotional about this. These are literally cards of crying. Now, outside of your favorite team losing the Super Bowl, it's rare to see men freely crying. But these guys, are a bit of a mess collectively. I'm reading on however many people collectively, right? All of those who were part of organising the rallies, guys who did podcasts, who spoke at the rallies, who organised things, who, you know, financed the buses, who are involved. They're really, really, really beginning to feel it emotionally. Well, sympathy is lacking from here. I am sorry. I should be a more empathetic person, but I'm not. I'm fair and balanced in the same way that Fox is fair and balanced. If they can make that claim, so can I. Ha! All right. Now, Stacey Abrams, who symbolises the absolute stunning best and pinnacle of America. We all know how close she came last time. We all know the efforts, but Georgia's been a fascinating state. Texas, Florida, Georgia, Arizona, Colorado, but Georgia, it could happen. That's why it's so nail-biting, isn't it? If there wasn't a chance, it wouldn't be nearly so interesting, but wow. Wow, wow, wow. Stacy, can you do it? Can you do it? Or really allowed to do it, you know. By the time they finish with their gerrymandering. Stacy. Let's see what's happening, Stacy. What an inspiration. Oh. Wow, so much going on here. So much going on. Goodness me. All right. Now, okay, what we have here. This is her in the center in the form of the lovers. This is her ability to bring people together. This is her great gift. Right. Now, what is she up against? She's up against the manipulation of the party. She's up against the infighting and stuff. They bond together. How can we keep Stacey Abrams out? Right. This is that energy. They are desperate to keep her out. She carries all before her in that unique and stunning way that she has of being able to put a hand out in the darkness and provide light for where America could go if it chose not to go down and become a fascist, intolerant, bigoted, racist hellhole. It could go the Stacey Abrams route. Right? It's so major. Hand of God card. She is a child of God. She exudes that. She also has the warrior energy. It's both those things. She's not one of those going, oh, well, we should just all get on and forget about everything. She combines these two things, the compassion and the fight for justice. She is both those things. This presents a dilemma for the people of Georgia. So, on the one hand, obviously, she can secure the African-American vote. She can secure the thinking Democrat vote. The real question is, can she get enough middle-of-the-road Georgians over the line? And she knows that's a big ask because she's up against the King of Pentacles, right? Which is not only one wealthy guy, this is money. She's up against the system. They will throw everything at this, believe me. The GOP will throw everything against Stacey Abrams getting up. They will pull every filthy trick out of their filthy boots to stop this happening. Will they succeed? I don't know, because here we have the Wheel of Fortune. She is destined for greatness. You only have to listen to her for 5 minutes and know you're in the presence of grace and greatness. It's such a rare thing. She has both those things. This is her destiny. This is her destiny. Oh my God, Stacy, I love, where can I donate? Love this woman. All right then. So that's it for today. I have just finished an hour ago a wonderful collaboration with Johnny Adrian from Red Lentil, and was from Pat, I think her name was, the storyteller from Canada. Wonderful, wonderful, inspired, wise woman. Please look it up on Johnny's Tarot's Apprentice channel. No cards. We were talking about the topic of free will. Sounds simple until you ask questions about it. And I think it was just a marvelous conversation, and I feel privileged to have been part of it. So thank you, Johnny, for organising that. And guys, I'd heartily recommend it. Okay, so you guys take care, and thanks for helping me have a fabulous birthday. I'll see you soon.